Hey everyone, welcome to the session by Intellipaat. In the 21st century, digital marketing has been the most rewarding thing that a company could invest in and ask for. Everyone from the startups to the Fortune 500 companies have been benefited immensely by making use of digital marketing. And in today's session, we are going to take a quick introduction to digital marketing and learn what it has to offer to all of us guys. And on that note, make sure to subscribe to the Intellipaat's YouTube channel and hit that bell icon so that you never miss an update from us. So here's the agenda for today. We're going to start out by having a quick introduction to digital marketing, and followed by this we're going to check out the concepts called as the 4 C's of digital marketing. And after this we'll check out the downfall of all of the traditional marketing methods which were used until now. Followed by this we're going to check out real life examples of digital marketing around us. And after this we're going to have an introduction to Google Analytics and check out why Google Analytics is required as well. And after this we're going to have an introduction to something called as sales funnels, and we're going to check out sales funnel in depth as well. And if you guys have any queries, make sure to head down to the comment section below and let us know. We'll be happy to help you out at the quickest. And if you guys are interested in end-to-end course certification, Intellipaat provides courses on the latest and the trending topics out there. Make sure to head to the Intellipaat website to know more about the same. And without further ado, let's begin the class. Introduction to digital marketing. Well, we already know what digital marketing can do because of all of the applications that we've been using, all of the trends we see, all the advertisement we see, but then we wouldn't know the details of how a digital marketing might work, right? So basically, here's an introduction to digital marketing. Digital marketing, the first thing we need to know about it is we need to know what digital marketing is. So digital marketing is nothing but the process which involves promoting a lot of products, or it basically promotes your brand as well by making use of a variety of electronic media, guys. It is as simple as that. And coming to where digital marketing is thriving, or what's the fuel for digital marketing, well, I think I have to say it's the internet, because again, internet as the platform, it is the playground where digital marketing can go on and flourish, guys. So coming to the electronic media thing, basically what we're trying to say is that the electronic media which we're using, various forms of electronic media, basically is nothing but the mobile phone. You have digital banners, basically the digital advertisement boards you see on the streets or on top of buildings, and it can be tablets, it can be your computer, it can be on a laptop, it can be on a website, and so much more. So all of these include the digital medium through which digital marketing is pretty much making its way into our life. But then when you think about the older ways of how marketing previously used to happen, so people used to go about, business owners and enthusiasts used to go out and hire people for marketing, or they used to do it themselves as well. So what they basically used to do was they used to have print media. Print media is basically like printing an advertisement in a newspaper, or getting some announcements done on the radio or on the television as well. I mean, sure, we do see all of these even today, but then they do not have the impact that digital marketing has. There are many other physical forms of advertising as well. So it came to hoardings, business cards. Again, it is still in use today, but then people love a virtual business card. People love a website rather than just a business card, right? So when you come to think about that, all of these forms which were once very good have been replaced by something much, much better, which is digital marketing. And coming to using internets and social media. Basically, these were sort of non-existent back in the day. But if you have to talk about the earlier part of the 21st century, sure. We had Facebook, we had YouTube, we had all these networking sites, but then no one actually went about to do any marketing or to exploit the marketing aspect of using these online networking sites. But then we already know today we have Instagram marketing, we have Facebook marketing, LinkedIn marketing, YouTube marketing, you name it, and pretty much you can go on to market it there as well. So you need to understand how pretty much these traditional marketing strategies failed, right? Because the first thing through which it failed, in my opinion, is that it couldn't reach the customers as quickly, and basically it couldn't reach the customers in a rapid way, and it couldn't reach out to all of the people that initially was sought after. And this brings us to the next point, which is basically telling them that having a, because each having a pattern is very important, because each customer will have some sort of patterns where they go on to buy things. So let's say you're going clothes shopping, you might go on to buy a shirt first and then a pant, and then you might pick up a tie, shoes in that order, or whatever your pattern is of pretty much buying stuff. So this is just one customer view that I gave to you, but then when you think about thousands and millions of people to whom you're catering to, then you have to take this very seriously. And traditional marketing sort of failed to assess the purchasing patterns of customers. And then pretty much we already know that, even these days we can feel it. The results you get from legacy marketing methods can be extremely slow, and usually they don't even get accounted for, because at the end of the day it's become a negligible entity in many of the fields, guys. I mean, sure. Just a quick info, guys. In case you guys are interested in having end-to-end course certification, Intellipaat provides a wide spectrum of courses across the trending and the latest topics out there. Make sure to head to the Intellipaat website to know more about the same. And let's get back to the session now. Traditional marketing has its own advantages. Online marketing has its bigger advantages, in my opinion. But then when you have to juxtapose it and compare it with what digital marketing does today, then I do have to say that digital marketing is one pitch ahead, guys. And then coming to the next topic, which is 4 C's of marketing. Well, 4 C's are basically customer value, cost, convenience, and communication. Let's get to that. But what is this 4 C's that we're talking about? Let us set the base trend. Pretty much we already know that digital marketing is a must and should for all the businesses, all the firms to actually grow and thrive out. And then coming to the 4 C's, it is nothing but a simple tool. It sounds simple, but then it is actually very complicated when you have to implement each of them and work on them. So these set of tools will basically help you make your website more communicative, more effective. And what this does at the end of the day to your customers is basically, for the business aspect, you're reaching out to your customers faster, and you know what to cater to each customer. So at the end of the day, you're giving them very good service as well. So the 4 C's are customer value, cost, convenience, and communication. Let's come to the first one, which is customer value. Well, this basically involves the business or the business owner and the marketing team corresponding to that particular company to see the business through the customer's perspective, because you need to see it through and through. Through and through basically means thoroughly. So you need to see it thoroughly through the customer's perspective, because customers are the reason you're actually selling something to, and they are your driving force. Let's say if your business was a particular car, then your customers are driving your business most of the time when you think about it, because if there were no customers to buy, then you as a company cannot sell. So this involves asking a lot of questions as well. And the 3 top questions that I think a person should ask for when they're looking for digital marketing in terms of customer value is that the first question is, what products and what services are your customers expecting? What value do they think which corresponds to that particular product or service should be the first question. And the second question is, to pretty much increase the uniqueness and to make your product feel tailor-made, you need to ask, what is it that the customer exactly needs? Once you figure this out, then pretty much the next question becomes very easy, which is basically on how you can cater to all of the individual needs, but then you can do it at once. So how you can go on to catering individual needs on the whole will basically give you the answer to how you can customize your platform, how you can customize your product for each one of them. But at the end of the day, bring them all under the same umbrella and make them feel at home. So basically, a lot of research about your customer will help in getting all the details of regarding what the customer strategy is, what the customer patterns are, and at the end of the day, all of these what we call as customer value strategies, this will basically help build a very good product, a very good service setup that is again valued very much by your customer, highly revered by your customer, and it drives better sales for the team. So again, this brings us to the next C of digital marketing, which is cost. When we think about it, every organization, even on the personal level, as people, salaried employees, to just step out of the example, we want our costs to be as low as possible. So if you're doing this on a personal level, imagine scaling this particular thing in terms of millions. So ensuring that your cost stays low, and your functional costs, your operational costs, and whatever it might be, it is one of the most important matters that need to be concerned in the field of marketing, guys. So what basically tells you to price your product right? So basically it involves a lot of things, and we're going to be discussing a lot of that in this particular presentation as well. But then what you need to know right now is a lot of research takes place to knowing what price to put on what item, guys. And after this, basically, your customers will understand what you're providing is for a good cost, and your customers will do your competitor analysis for you most of the time. but then it is highly recommended as a digital marketing executive, as a digital marketing expert, you do the competitive analysis as well. But then when you think about it as a customer, the customer would know better of who's offering what, because at the end of the day, it's their money to spend and it's in their judgment to do it. And again, cost is relative is an important point out here, because you might think that it is right in pricing your product high, but then if your competitor is giving it for a lower price, then you might just lose a client there. So this brings us to the next C, which is basically convenience. Just a quick info, guys. In case you guys are interested in having end-to-end course certification, Intellipaat provides a wide spectrum of courses across the trending and the latest topics out there. Make sure to head to the Intellipaat website to know more about the same. And let's get back to the session now. Convenience again. We're living in the 21st century and the world around us is getting more convenient day by day. And when we think about it, the most convenient thing that has happened in the 21st century is definitely our smartphones. I have not met a person who does not have a smartphone among thousands of people I meet everywhere I go. So when you come to think about it, why not exploit smartphones to push very good digital marketing strategies there? Because when you think about it, let's say there are certain tourists who wants to go from Delhi to Himachal Pradesh for a tour, and they're looking for a place to stay for the night. So if they're looking for accommodation, what they'll usually do is they'll pick up their phone, they're going to go for a very good website, or there are a lot of websites for travel helping and travel agencies. So all these even a simple Google search basically will help them get an accommodation. But then if the website that they're looking at is not mobile friendly, so it might open fine on a website. So if you guys have come across a situation where you're trying to open a website and it opens perfectly fine on your desktop, but then when you come to the mobile, it is not at all working fine. So that means that the website is particularly not mobile friendly. So what this happens is, they might not have a laptop. So the mobile is the only reason that they might want to use to book a room. So basically, they will just go to another company's website who actually has a very good mobile friendly site and just go on to pick something up from there as well. So convenience is again a very important point of the 4Cs of digital marketing. And this brings us to communication. Communication is the number one thing, in my opinion, when it comes to the 4Cs, because at the end of the day, the marketing these days is all about how effectively you communicate rather than how effectively you promote. Because at the end of the day, effective communication will help you in good promotion as well. So this has to be stressed a lot, because communication involves having a very good communication tactics, strategies, and so much more. And this happens directly with your customer. It might be one customer, two customers, 10, 100,000, million. So you need to know how you can cater your company's views and mission and vision to basically understand what your customer wants and then give them the same. So in the era of digital marketing, again, we need to know that there are millions of websites which are already present. So what makes your website better? Well, this is where the next point comes in. Pretty much your website needs to be very engaging, where your people, whoever land on your website, whoever come to your website, have something to do. They can read something, understand something, reciprocate to something, and react to something as well. So having a very responsive website, likable website, and an engaging website is a very important factor in the 4th C of digital marketing, guys. So this brings us to the next point of why traditional marketing fell. So what are the drawbacks of traditional marketing? So when you think about it, here is a very good graph which will tell you why traditional marketing fell. The majority of the reason why traditional marketing fell is that there was no interaction with the audience at all, little or no interaction basically. So you print an advertisement in the paper and you just start selling it out. So again, millions of people buy newspaper every day. But how do you know who saw your particular advertisement snippet in a 12-page newspaper, right? So you have no way to gauge your audience and understand if they actually saw. So whatever value for money you're getting was very less in traditional marketing. And the next biggest reason is that it's extremely costly to put out radio advertisements, television advertisements, and to go print an advertisement in newspapers as well. Followed by this, it was pretty much very much interested and dwelled in the concept of return on investment, because when you think about it, you would have invested a lot, but the returns you're getting on that investment is very less. So that was 15% of the reason of why traditional marketing failed. And the other 5% was pretty much, it was again very difficult to receive feedbacks, as I just told you. In my opinion, they should be involved in that 50%, because again, that directly affects the marketing scheme. And poor conversion ratio is again another reason, because 100, let's say 1 million people saw your ad, but then 10 people decided to call you. So that conversion ratio of 1 million people watching your ad versus 10 people calling you is something disastrous. So these are some of the reasons why traditional marketing fell. So coming to elaborate on it a little. So the first point we should talk about is pretty much interaction. So what's with less interaction and having good interaction, right? So the traditional marketing, when you think about it, it's just like a one-way street where you're able to, as a business, you can broadcast your information, you can provide all the details which is required to your audience. It can be to a small audience, large audience. Think of a newspaper or radio and whatnot. But then what you're not getting is when pretty much those people getting back to you. Just a quick info, guys. In case you guys are interested in having end-to-end course certification, Intellipaat provides a wide spectrum of courses across the trending and the latest topics out there. Make sure to head to the Intellipaat website to know more about the same. And let's get back to the session now. So that the absence of a particular feedback system will make it extremely difficult to go about understanding how your feedback is going about how your product is doing on the street. And then traditional marketing basically hopes to attract the attention of the right people and maybe convert them into customers, guys. So when you can read it on the screen right now, it says hope and maybe. So when you're talking about extremely good marketing strategies, there usually are no maybes and no hopes. So if it were digital marketing, then digital marketing surely would attract the attention of the right people and definitely convert them into customers. So this is where traditional marketing chose to be a little behind when we compare it to digital marketing. And this brings us to the next point, which is time sensitivity. Well, again, traditional marketing is pretty much based on something which is done once and cannot be changed, because once you print an advertisement on the paper and the paper is distributed to millions of people, when you think about it, there is nothing you can do about it. So you go on to have a television commercial and a paper, but then you want to replace any one of the products that you're actually selling, but there is an ad which is already running for that. In that case, you have to replace the entire advertisement, and this is going to cost you as well. And then pretty much it's an extreme requirement as a business, as an ad agency provider, and so much more, because at the end of the day, you have to redo your entire advertisement campaign. The person publishing your campaign has to work for it, and then you have to collaborate, you have to pay a lot of money and do it as well, guys. So in the trending world, having something which is very tough to change was a very bad thing for traditional marketing, guys. And then coming to the costs, again, as I've told you, in traditional marketing, there are a lot of recursive costs, because at the end of the day, it's not just you running one advertisement and leaving it, right? So you'll be running these advertisements every now and then without the idea of knowing whether it gives you good returns, bad returns, what's going on and what's not. So the advertisement in your local newspaper will only be effective if it is actually seen by the audience, right? And most of the time it will only work, like 99.9% of the time when you put a newspaper advertisement, you have to make sure that the people see that advertisement on that particular day when it got published, because if the people are not watching advertisement that day, then hey, they might just throw the paper away and they might not ever see it again. So what are the chances of your people watching your advertisement, a tiny snippet in an entire newspaper? So this is something you have to think about when it comes to traditional marketing. And then again, the process of reiterations, the process of recreations, all of these complicates the entire process of marketing. This will add up in price, this will add up in time, and then as we already know, time is money. So it is very important to understand why traditional marketing fell. And here's another reason to pretty much concrete the answer, which is basically low versus high customization. Traditional marketing, as we all know it, offers very little help when it comes to customizing an ad campaign, again, because it gets published really early and so much more. So here you cannot target your customers, you cannot target people of specific age group, specific location, so many filters that you cannot apply out here is the right word. And then coming to the next thing, which is basically, you can use traditional marketing, sure, to market certain trends, certain segments of this world, but then it would be impossible. It is not like it would maybe be possible. It is a direct impossibility to, not go after targeted customers, because you don't even know if your customers are seeing whatever you're selling. And then this comes to online ads. Online ads, basically, the user not only has the option to reach out to the right kind of customers, but then you can also show them what your exact product is and what you can do for them, which will basically make the product feel very tailor-made. So this again is one of the very important differences between traditional and digital marketing. And then the next thing, as a product seller and as a business person, what you need to know is the price disclosure probability, because again, when you're doing traditional marketing, when it comes to offering unique prices, customized pricing options. Traditional marketing could not do it. It was very difficult because again, print media will make it difficult. You have to redo your ad, you have to pay again, time waste again, your efficiency comes down, your time is more, your cost is high, and all of these happens. And let's say the person thinks your price is very high and he might move out. But then if you have a digital marketing campaign running there, the person can call you or you can call the person, negotiate down and close that particular sale. And this basically means you made money rather than just printing an advertisement where you're not giving the pricing requirements of that particular customer and the customer leaves. So this quickly brings us to the examples of digital marketing. So in my opinion, there are pretty much 10 ways we can go about with using digital marketing. Everything from search engine optimization, content marketing, social media, pay-per-click, affiliate marketing, native advertisements, marketing automation, email marketing, online PRs, and inbound marketing as well, guys. So let's quickly walk through each of these examples of digital marketing. And the first thing is SEO. I'm sure most of us would have heard of SEO, and if you haven't, it stands for search engine optimization. So this process is to get your website or your online content to come at the top of a search. What I basically mean is that when you pretty much search for any of the top trending technologies, you can see the Intellipaat's website come up. So with a good search engine optimization strategy, and if your content is very good and people like it, so this basically will get your website to rank up on the first page of your Google search or whatever. Because again, who goes to page number 10 to get something important, right? So if it's on page number 1, there are higher chances that people come and pick up something from your website or just interact with your website and so much more. So this increases the overall amount of traffic on your website as well. So there's this concept called as organic traffic. So organic traffic is where, again, the name suggests, it's free traffic where real people come in and interact with your website for free. So you get a lot of organic traffic as well, and all of the benefits that you get from SEOs, it will pretty much span throughout your websites, it will span throughout your blogs, and you can use very good infographics, images, videos, music, whatever you want in your website, which might help SEO as well. And this brings us to pretty much knowing all the various ways that you can get to achieve good SEO. There are so many concepts with SEOs. It's something called as on-page SEO. We have off-page SEO techniques and much more. And this brings us to the second example of digital marketing, which is basically content marketing. Content marketing, again, is one of the most important aspects of establishing your brand online, because this is the process of creation and later promoting that creation, basically built around that particular product. And what this does pretty much is that, it helps in generating brand awareness, it helps market your product, it'll help sell your product better, and so much more. And this, at the end of the day, will directly affect traffic growth, directly affect lead generation, directly affect your customers and whatnot. So guys, think about it. If you have anything more to add about content marketing or any of these examples, make sure to head down to the comment section and do let me know. And then coming to the last point of content marketing, which is basically all the channels that you can use to go about with content marketing strategies, guys. So you can write very good blogs, you can have ebooks, you can have white papers, infographics, YouTube videos, not only YouTube, well, generally videos, and much more. So the number of channels for content marketing are virtually endless, because if you are good at generating text content, video content, image content, audio content, you can pretty much flourish and exploit the entire world of digital marketing, because you have a place wherever you go. And this brings us to social media marketing. So social media marketing is pretty much done to promote a brand, to promote a business on any of these social media channels. There are a lot of channels. There's Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, Instagram, Snapchat, Pinterest, and much more. So basically, we use these social media, we use certain strategies to go about establishing our brand, establishing our products, and telling the world we exist through these social media. And this is done at the end of the day to increase brand awareness, drive organic traffic to your website, and generate leads for businesses where you can sell something and at the end of the day get a profit through the same. And this brings us to pay-per-click, which is the elaborated form of PPC. So every time you might see PPC, do know that PPC stands for pay-per-click. What pay-per-click is pretty much, it is one of the very good methods which is used to drive traffic onto a website. By paying a publisher every time your ad is clicked. So every time a person comes and clicks your ad, which has been put out by a publisher, you get paid for it. So one of the very good campaigns here is Google Ads. So Google Ads will pretty much, pay for top slots on the Google search engine where, there is a price which is set. So every time the person comes and clicks, per click you have a certain price which is pretty much attached to that, and all of these will again establish your brand, bring in more money, and you know what you're getting, how many clicks you're getting, and this very advantageous because you're only paying for the clicks you get. So this is a very good strategy of digital marketing. Just a quick info, guys. In case you guys are interested in having end-to-end course certification, Intellipaat provides a wide spectrum of courses across the trending and the latest topics out there. Make sure to head to the Intellipaat website to know more about the same. And let's get back to the session now. So there are many other channels for this as well. Think about Facebook ads, Twitter campaigns, sponsored messages on LinkedIn. So we see all of these on a daily basis, and we have been seeing them for a couple of years now when you think about it, right? So the next example of digital marketing is affiliate marketing. Affiliate marketing again is something very important because you will receive a small amount of commission whenever you promote, whenever pretty much a product has been promoted, a service has been promoted, and you do it for someone else's product on your website. It is as simple as that. So you might have seen a couple of YouTube videos where there might be affiliate links to e-commerce websites such as Amazon and something. So when you go and buy stuff through those links, and these have to be genuine links, guys. So be very careful when you're using affiliate links. If you're the product, if you're buying a product or something through the affiliate links, and if there are genuine links, then what basically happens is you are charged the same amount for the product, but then through whose link you clicked, right? So that person gets a very small amount, a very small percentage of commission for showing you that particular product, and that's as simple as that. So again, you can pretty much do all of these by hosting ads. You have something called as the YouTube partner programs, and you have a lot of things you can do with affiliate marketing, and again, it is endless, as I've been telling for a while now. And pretty much you can go on to post all of these content through your social media accounts by cross-linking them and bringing multiple strategies together as well, guys. And then this brings us to native advertising. Native advertising basically means that you're so basically what this method of native advertisement suggests is that they are primarily content led, and they are featured on a lot of platforms alongside many other non-paid content, guys. So the non-paid content is a keyword there. And then one extremely good example of native advertising is the BuzzFeed sponsored post, because when you take a look at a lot of, if you guys are into BuzzFeed, and then you would know what I'm talking about. But then if you do not, make sure you do a quick Google search after this video, and you can find out what BuzzFeed sponsored posts are. So basically, it's people come click on that, and the advertising is done in such a way. Usually, it is very subtle, but then people who opt in for BuzzFeed feeds basically know what they're getting into, and they get very good products there as well, guys. And then coming to the next thing, these days the trend is that people consider social media advertising to be the native one, because Instagram marketing, Facebook marketing, LinkedIn marketing has been flourishing so well. People consider it to be native these days, guys. And this brings us to marketing automation. Marketing automation basically is telling your company to use a software which will automate all the marketing operations. So you do not need a human workforce, or you do not need a huge human workforce to basically work with your basic marketing operations. And what this does is pretty much it automates all of the repetitive tasks that humans might do manually. They might get bored, and again, it's pretty much a waste of resource, a waste of time, energy, efficiency, money, and so much more. So if you can have a machine, if you can have a software which can do repetitive tasks extremely well, then why not? So basically, some of these tasks are like, email newsletters, social media post scheduling, campaign tracking, campaign reporting, and much, much more as well, guys. So this brings us to email marketing. So email marketing, again, when we know email is a huge player when it comes to selling your content through digital marketing, because you can use it to promote content, give them discounts, create events, and direct these people directly towards your particular business's website, guys. So there are many types of mails that you can basically send. Most of them are blogs, subscription newsletters, welcome mails, holiday promotions, very good discounts, attractive limited sales, and much, much more, guys. So there are many other types of mails as well. well, where you can give your customers tips and tricks. You can give certain cheat codes to your customers. You can have follow-up emails. You can have support emails to help the customer understand your product better, or help your customer go through your website and understand where you're coming from, what's your story, and much more, guys. And this brings us to online PR. Basically, this again is a very important aspect of digital marketing, because PR, it basically deals everything with respect to digital publications, digital blog publications, and all the other content based websites where you're promoting your content, guys. So all of the channels which come alongside the online PR scheme basically involves using a lot of social media, a lot of online reviews of the company, typing in very good engaging comments on the websites, typing comments, asking a lot of questions, asking queries on the blogs, and much more. And what basically is an advantage here is that online PR is actually very similar to your traditional press releases, because this again feels very tailor made to the online space. And then this is where our online press releases started winning a little bit. And let's say it was a very fair race, but online PR won a little bit better and performed a little bit better when it comes to traditional PR, guys. And then this brings us to inbound marketing. And inbound marketing again is how your customers are reacting to your product, and this can only be done if you provide very good, attractive, engaging stuff to your customers, right? Because if you delight your customers, if your customers are very happy at every stage of their entire buying journey, they know, they feel at home when they come to your particular website or product as well. And what basically is a very good thing is that any strategy can actually be used to give them a very good customer experience. And this can be done because you know your customer personally, and I'm talking about the online marketing here, because since it's online, you know your customer's behavior, you can have a lot of customer data, and you can use all of these data to exploit and create a very good program, a very good strategy which can be customized for every single customer as well, guys. And the other thing is that there's a lot of blogging which can be done. You can do a lot of video marketing, email contacts lists, and much more when it comes to directly involving into inbound marketing to be your primary channel of digital marketing, guys. And on that note, we'll have a quick introduction to something called as Google Analytics. Have you guys heard of Google Analytics, guys? Head to the comment section and do let me know, because Google Analytics is an amazing creation in my opinion. It's basically a free web analytics service which will provide you with a plethora of tools that you can use to perform very concise and in-depth analytics of your particular website, of your product, of your brand, and so much more. So this at the end of the day is used to measure how successful your website is, how successful your blog is when it comes to marketing, when it comes to how optimized the content you are putting is, or when it comes to e-commerce, where you directly have to sell sales, after sales support, and whatnot, guys. So Google Analytics actually came into the picture by this web analytics firm called as Urchin, but then Urchin was actually acquired by Google in the year 2005, and that's when pretty much Google Analytics came into establishment, guys. It was late 2005. So how can you go about accessing Google Analytics? Well, guys, it is actually extremely simple. The web address that you need to go to is www.google.com/analytics. To use analytics, there are certain prerequisites. And the first thing is that you're going to need a Google account to use analytics. But then most of us these days do use Gmail accounts, right? So that would be sufficient, since that is a Google provided account, to basically use analytics, guys. If you do not have a Gmail account, well, you can actually create yourself a new Google account, become a member of the Google products, and pretty much you can go on to later using the Google Analytics, and you can do it very easily. And that is the best part about Google Analytics in my opinion, guys. And the fun fact is that it is extremely vital that you guys know this, is that Google Analytics is one of the most preferred analytical tool by many companies throughout the world, guys. So again, read it again. It's one of the most preferred analytics tools by many companies throughout the world, and you can pretty much exploit this. You can get very good jobs out of it, and since it's a Google Analytics tool, you can be paid very well if you know what you're doing with respect to Google Analytics as well, guys. So this should bring us to the question of why we should actually use Google Analytics. I mean, sure, there are n number of possible reasons that you can get, hundreds of advantages that you can get. But what are the particular questions that need answering when you can pretty much use Google Analytics to get the answers for. See, here are some of the questions that people will ask through which you can get the answers to using Google Analytics. The first question is, how many people actually visit my website? Where do my visitors live? Do I need a mobile friendly website? Again, as I told you the example earlier, what websites send traffic to my website pretty much, what marketing tactic is helping my website the most, what pages are the most popular ones on my web page, what pages are not popular, how many visitors do I have which are basically converted into leads or customers, where am I converting visitors coming from, and where do they go on the website, how can I improve my website's speed, what content are my visitors liking the most. And guys, basically there are n number of questions that you can ask, and through all of these questions, to get a better clarity of what's happening around, you can pretty much use Google Analytics, and this will give you all the answers to those questions as well. And the first thing is, the important aspect that you need to know about is getting to know your audience. Google Analytics provides a very good and an easy way where you can track all the people who come through your website and interact with your website as well. You can get so many fine print details, such as how many people actually come to your website, how long they stay for, what they do on your website, and so much more using Google Analytics, guys. So let's say they're particularly in search for a keyword, or they just happen to bump onto your website in Google. Well, basically it wouldn't mean bump on you. It means your content might be ranking and there's a good chance they clicked on that. But then you can find out the reason why it's ranking and how your customer landed on your website as well, guys. So what this does for you as a business person is that this knowledge will help you create a very good marketing campaign in the future, to know how your customers are coming through and to provide them the easiest way to go about accessing your site. And the next reason why Google Analytics is required is pretty much to understand the measurement of success that your campaign has been through, because Google Analytics is one of the most amazing methodologies, amazing ways that you can go about using to measure the efficiency of all of your marketing campaigns, guys. So at the end of the day, we know it might get difficult to analyze a campaign which has been done in the traditional ways, but then when it comes to online marketing, you can find out answers to so many questions. Again, how many users did the campaign actually help in bringing to your website? What was the bounce rate? Bounce rate is basically when people just land on your website, they come to your website, but they don't do anything, they just leave. So that's bounce rate. And then did the visitors pretty much come to your site, and did they actually go on to donate some money for your site and whatnot. So the most important thing that you need to know is that analytics can give you the results to a particular product. So before doing any sort of analytics, you need to set very specific goals before you actually launch your marketing campaign, because all of these goals can be verified if they're obtained or not by using analytics, guys. And then this brings us to the next point, which is basically website customization, because Google Analytics, again, as I've been stressing, is amazing. It's amazingly easy to provide very good information for you, valuable information that you can actually use to customize your website to your particular customer's needs. And then you can actually see these results numerically and visually, and you can use these results to actually do some changes to the websites, attract more visitors, and attract many prospects as well, guys. So to help you understand this a little better, here's a quote for you guys. So pretty much, the world has sold more products on a website which is extremely concise and helps the customer with their requirement. So when you think about it, the entire world agrees with this statement. If your website is very concise, it is very sharp, and people can understand what you're doing, this will help your customers immensely, guys. And then coming to what a Google Analytics output looks like. So what we basically call it as Google Analytics dashboard, guys. So this dashboard is a plethora of information where you can customize this as per your requirement, basically. So this is basically a content drill down dashboard where you can go on to analyze all the users who have come to your website, all the male users, all the female users, what is the top rated blog that's being viewed by the male users, by the female users. Guys, you can do any sort of customization. You can view with respect to age as well. You can get the unique viewers, bounce rates, session duration, where what is the amount of time that people spent on your particular website, what is the time people spent on that that particular web page of that website and so much more, guys. So this is basically a website content dashboard, and it would look something like this. And then coming to a page tracking dashboard, well, again, we already know what the bounce rate is. So pretty much the 67.5% is the average bounce rate, and there are 2 pages being created per session. People are spending 74 seconds on each particular page. People are spending 5 seconds is the actual load time of your particular website, and so much more. When you look about the time spent on each page, as like, based on the color coding, you can check out that the power of big data has the biggest gap. And guys, this is basically a very simple dashboard, but then it looks so elegant, and it can give you all the beautiful results as well. You can even get to know the bounce rate by which the browsers they use. So the 69% of the people who use Safari actually don't do anything on your website. 67 people Mozilla. You have again Google Chrome, Firefox, and so much more as well. You can even find out what is the loading time by country, guys. So in this country, this is the amount of time it takes for your page to load. At that level of detail can be figured out as well. And then you can find out the new users who came, how many sessions got created that day, what is the bounce rate, what is the browser version, and much more. And this brings us quickly to the introduction of sales funnels. So have you guys heard of sales funnels? Head to the comment section and let me know. So sales funnels basically are this particular channels where people can let's say it's a very well waved path where people actually come visit your websites to either buy your product, see what you're offering, or buy one of your services, guys. So let us visualize this to understand this in a very simple way. So let's say some people never leave the top of the sales funnel while others reach the very end. Let us see what happens when people leave at the top of the sales funnel versus the bottom of the sales funnel. So the sales funnel looks something like this on your screen, guys. So you have something called as traffic, you have something called as leads, and you have something called as the sales as well. So you might be asking, do companies have control over this particular so-called funnel? Well, yes, you do influence how many people actually reach to the bottom of the sales funnel. But what does it mean if you're reaching to the bottom of the sales funnel? Let us consider a scenario to understand just that. Let's say there is a person who just came into your website and is actually browsing through. Let's consider the offline version of this as well, so you can get a better picture. So there's a salesman there, sales associate, who's helping the customer by greeting the customer and offering any assistance if required by the customer. So at this point of time, your customer is on the top of the funnel. So he's at this particular stage, what we call as traffic. And when he becomes a lead, is that this person is after walking into your shop is very interested in picking up some of the items, and at the same time the salesperson will help this customer by providing attractive discounts, offers, telling the person more about the product and whatnot. And this person gets converted from a traffic to a lead now, because again, what happens is a lead can be converted to a sale, and this customer is convinced by the goodness, by the sweet talk or your product as well, and then he or she decides to buy the product, and now your traffic became a lead, and your lead definitely became a sale, because the customer is very much interested to make a purchase. The customer just made a purchase, and your salesperson again is in a very friendly manner helping the customer buy it as well. And the customer just went from the top of the funnel as traffic to the bottom of the funnel, which is basically sales. So think about the process of filtering traffics into leads and leads into sales, guys. So on the whole, this is what will happen, guys. So you have something called as leads. There are a lot of opportunities which are coming in. When you think about the left perspective and the right perspective, you create a sales call where you talk to all of these people, you make connections with them, and after that you convince them and you tell them what you have to offer with your product. And if they are convinced, then they're directly created into a sale. But then if they want to take some time, then you're going to do some follow-up questioning, follow-up calls with respect to the timing which is actually given. And then this particular customer who's been followed up through can be converted by the process of conversion, and you'll have to work with the obstacles corresponding to that as well. And at the end of it, you have sales and persistence, where it's not just about making one sale in this particular case, but it's about making hundreds of sales after that as well, guys. So everything you see on the left side of the funnel pertains to what you actually want to do, and all the right side will pretty much tell you how to do, and the challenges pretty much that's posed to you as well, guys. So this brings us to the question of why sales funnel is actually important, right? So when you come to think about it, it again paves the entire roadmap. Consider it's a very dark street right now, and sales funnel is like a flashlight that you would find on the road. That's pretty much a vague analogy, but when you can think about it, that flashlight can be your difference between you tripping and falling on a dark road and whatnot, right? So this particular analogy will help you understand why sales funnels are important, because these can help you find out all the holes in the funnels where the holes in the funnels are the places where people actually drop out and they do not convert into sales. So they start out as traffic and they can become leads, but then they can still choose not to buy your product, right? So you can understand why they didn't want to buy your product, and then this will help you understand the entirety of your firm, if your product is actually being catered to the right customers or not. And if it is done right, it can be extremely efficient, extremely optimized, but then if it is not done right, it cannot be optimized and your business model might fail. And this pretty much brings us to the ways that in which your customers require and how you provide as well, because this is very targeted, right? So you have specific customers who are coming, who have specific reasons to go out instead of becoming a sale and whatnot. So this will give you a path, a very paved road, pretty much, so that you can design a very special marketing strategy, a very specific, unique strategy for all of your customers as well, guys. So this brings us to the part where we'll check out sales funnels in a little bit more depth. So how does sales funnels work? Again, we already know what it does, but then think about a customer who has to go through these 4 stages to visualize what's going on with respect to sales funnels, guys. So the customer will go from a visitor first, and then he becomes a prospect, he or she becomes a lead, and then they become a buyer, right? So this customer again starts out as a visitor, becomes a prospect, becomes a lead, and then at the last becomes a buyer. And the end goal of your digital marketing campaign is to take this visitor and convert this visitor into a buyer, guys. So how does this work? Let's talk about again the prospect part. Prospect is basically a visitor who just comes to your website, right? So this person can come through Google search or any sort of social media link or any of the digital marketing campaigns that you've run. So he or she will now be considered as a prospect, because there are a lot of perspectives that you can pretty much go on to using as well. So what this basically does is that this visitor can actually check out a blog post you have. He or she can check out few of the products that you're selling. They can browse through whatever you're selling if they're interested in any and whatnot, right? So this is a prospect. Coming to who a lead is basically a person becomes a lead basically when you ask them to fill out a form, give any more details and whatnot, guys. So pretty much when you have certain access to your customer which is outside your website, right? So by making your customer fill a form, you can get their email addresses, details like phone numbers, and much more as well. So this gives you a very good advantage where you have the access to your customers outside your website, right, guys? Take a second, contemplate about that, and think about how important that can be for a campaign. So leads again tend to come back to your website pretty much when you contact them. You can leave them a mail, you can leave them a message with very good offers, coupon codes, and everything which will attract them, and there is a good chance that it might work. They might come back and be converted as a buyer. And that is the last step of how it works, guys, because when you think about it, the sales funnel, how it physically is built, that it gets narrower at the bottom end, right? So there are more number of traffic people at the top, there are a smaller amount of leads in the middle, and there are very less amount of sales at the bottom. And your goal is to pretty much maximize the bottom of the funnel, which is getting people to buy your product, because the funnel is designed this way because you might have more visitors than prospects, you'll have more prospects than leads, and you will have more leads definitely than sales, guys. So when you come to think about it, this is simply all the 4 stages which works in a sales funnel. So you start out with awareness on the first stage, and you create interest with the customer on the second stage, and your customer pretty much has a decision stage through which he or she opts to pick your product or not pick your product, and at the end of the funnel it's an action, right? So the action is converting the prospect into a buyer, or it is pretty much action of the customer where the person actually chooses to buy it or not buy it as well, guys. So to elaborate on these particular processes, the first one is awareness. So coming to the first point when we're explaining the sales funnel is pretty much with the awareness, just as we saw. This is the moment where you first catch your customer's attention, and at this stage, it's become very clear that your prospect becomes aware of what your business is, the products you offer, the development that you do, and basically who you are and what you do, guys. So in simple terms, what you're trying to do is you're trying to woo the prospect, you're trying to claim interest and catch this particular person's attention, the prospect's attention, into making that person return to your website, engage more with your business, understand your business model more, and then eventually be converted into a sale, guys. And the next thing is the interest, because when consumers are pretty much in the interest stage, what happens is that they're actually knowing that they're interested in your particular product, so they're doing some back-end research, they're doing comparisons with your competitors and much more. So what happens is, if you're pushing your product from pretty much the beginning till the end, and all you're trying to do is, if you're just trying to sell them very blatantly, you will turn off these guys. So these guys will care less and go to your competitors and buy a product from there. So you have to be very careful when you're playing with the interest of the consumer, because again, you have to know that they'll be doing their research, they'll be doing their comparisons and much more. But the goal of this particular step is to know that you're helping your customer make a very informed decision, take a very informed decision, and at the end of the day, you'll be offering them help in any way that you particularly can, so that they can go on about their goal, buying the product from your site, and you can make a sale and eventually turn it into profit, guys. And this brings us to decision. Decision basically is the stage where your customer is ready to take the decision and make a buy. So this particular step is again very important, because at this point of time, your consumer is considering your competitors too. You need to be better than your competitors at this point of time. And then the best thing I can tell you at this point of time is, make them an offer they cannot refuse. If you're shipping a physical product, you can pretty much offer them free shipping. You can go on to give them discount codes, bonuses, and so much more, which will basically keep them and put the rock solid foundation to their decision, guys. And after this, pretty much he can the person, whoever is the prospect, can is a lead basically now, and this particular lead can purchase products or service. And once they have done that, once you've made a sale, they become part of your business ecosystem, right? But this one sale is not the end of it. Your job as the marketing expert here is to make sure that people actually come land on the website. And if there has been one sale which has made due to your strategy, your job is to convert this 1 into 10, 10 into 100, 100 into a million, and much more, guys. So the main focus, the main key point here is, you need to focus on customer retention, because every time a customer buys something, it is your duty as a marketing team, it is your duty as a firm basically to show gratitude to them for the purchase. Ask them for feedback about the product, ask how you can develop the product, ask for suggestions, comments, queries, and so much more, and keep them engaged with the content, guys. So here is a small example of a sales funnel that I can think of, and through this, your concept about the sales funnel should be extremely clear. So let us consider a scenario where we pretty much own an e-commerce business, and our primary job is to sell t-shirts. So you realize that you're selling your t-shirts in between the age group of somewhere between 25 years old and 65 years of age. So you have the funky, young kind of look t-shirts for the people at 25, and you have the matured, professional look shirts that you want to sell and pitch to the people who are 65 years old. And you also know that the majority of your audience for your website comes through Facebook. So that's your target audience. So what you will pretty much do next is, you will run something called as a Facebook advertisement, where you pay Facebook to promote your product, and this again brings in traffic to your page. And at your page, this person is still traffic and considered as a prospect, right? So this prospect is pretty much asked to sign up. So when they sign up, they give you their email, they give you their phone numbers, and so much more. This is the process where the prospect becomes the lead, because you've asked them to engage, and they engage and give you more details where you can contact them. And now you have leads, and leads are an extremely good thing, because instead of just prospects, now you can contact your people, and this can lead to a sale, right? So after this, what you do is, you have to educate all the people that whose email IDs you have. So what you basically do is, you send out some content to them. You tell them, hey, this is our new shirt designs, these are what is trending, and we are doing the same thing. And you can tell them where your design inspiration comes from, and so much more, that helped you actually take a decision. So now the lead will have a very good amount of research. He or she will know the competitive analysis, he or she will know what what seller is actually catering to the buyers, right? What's the pricing like, what's the quality of your t-shirts like, what's the quality of your print, how is your service, how are your discounts, and much more. So at the end of your digital marketing campaign, what you'll pretty much tell them is, Hey guys, here's a surprise. I'm going to give you a 20% off coupon on your entire first order, and this is going to woo customers and make them so happy because they're getting a 20% off which they didn't expect. So this will help pretty much. Even they will do some marketing for you by telling their friends, family members, and much more about what you are offering and that surprise offer that made them very happy at the end of their process as well. And this will get people to want what you're selling, and then your t-shirt business will just take off from this, guys. So basically at this, after the end of your campaign, you are done, and now again you're going to add the same customers to a new emailing list. You're going to start this entire process again, give them offers, give them discount codes, keep them very attracted, give them design models, and much more. But this time you won't be using the same content, you will be using something different as well, guys. So basically this will make your customers come back for more. Come back for more is the most highlighted keyword here, and I want you guys to concentrate on that part as well, guys. So on that note, you've pretty much come to the end of the video, but before we finish, we have a quick quiz planned out for you guys. So question number 1 on the quiz for you guys is this: digital marketing helps reach out to customers better, faster, and in a more structured way. Is this true or is this false? And in my opinion, this has to be a very simple one for you, right? So quickly take 5 seconds and then I'm going to reveal the answer to you. And I hope that was very easy. Of course, digital marketing helps you reach your customers better, faster, and in a more structured way. So that's it, true, guys. So here's question number 2 for you. Collaboration is one of the 4 C's of digital marketing. Is this true or is this false? Again, I hope this was a simple one because collaboration is not a part of the 4 C's. You have to quickly head back through the video to find out what the 4 C's are, guys. So on that note, here's the next question. In the sales funnel, the person starts from the bottom of the funnel and goes up. Is this true or is this false? Guys, this statement is false because a person starts as a traffic from the top, becomes a lead, becomes a prospect, becomes a lead, and then is converted at a sale at the end and the bottom of the funnel, guys. Just a quick info, guys. In case you guys are interested in having end-to-end course certification, Intellipaat provides a wide spectrum of courses across the trending and the latest topics out there. Make sure to head to the Intellipaat website to know more about the same. I hope this session was helpful for you all. If you have any queries, make sure to head down to the comment section and let us know, and we'll be happy to answer at the earliest. And on that note, have a nice day.